you beautiful Spark, and welcome back to another solo episode of Spark TV. I am your humble guide here, Danielle Lewis, CEO and founder here at Spark Business. And today I wanted to spill the champagne on the easiest way to take emotion out of your sales. And now I need to pre-warn you, it might be a little boring, it might be a little mathsy, but please don't skip this one because it's so important. If it is getting a little boring for you, pour a glass of wine. You all know that I love sales over a wine. It makes it so much better. Anyway, let's get into it. So the biggest thing, the biggest key, the easiest way to take emotion out of sales is just to know your numbers. Because when you know your numbers, you actually know what it is you need to do to hit the goal that you want. So, sometimes it's very easy when perhaps we're only looking at the cash in our bank account, or perhaps we're only looking at our sales number, to say things to ourselves like, why isn't this working? This isn't enough. What am I doing wrong? Why does everyone hate me? Is my product not right? Is the price too high, too low, too this, too that? It's so easy to spiral into this negative thought process, negative emotions, belittling your work, berating yourself, putting yourself down. And it's so easy to spiral when you get into that state. Now, what we want to do, and look, don't get me wrong, that can still happen. Even though I'm going to teach you this amazing hack, that may still happen, but this is a fantastic way to bring yourself out of that and into reality. I mean, look, so I've been doing this So I've been in business for over 12 years now, and it's hilarious. Like, I'll do this still, and my husband will be like, well, so show me the numbers. How did you end up for last month? And I'll show him. And he's like, you're being a crazy person. You're doing so well. And it's just because I haven't taken the time to visit the numbers. I just have this, general feeling. It's probably the time of the month. Let's be real. So I want to take you through what numbers to know in your business so that you can start to take the emotion out of sales, but also so that you have a roadmap to hitting your goal, whatever it is, whether it is $10,000 because you want to take your family on an epic trip this year, whether it is that, 100K, six figure, we all love to hear it. We don't love to hear it, but well, that's another episode. Replace your salary kind of range, or if you want to make $1 million or $10 million or $1 billion, whatever it is, these are the numbers you want to know. So you'll often hear people in business, in sales and in marketing talking about things like your sales pipeline or a sales funnel. These are two really interesting things to think about because the way they start to get you to think about your business is how many people generally know about me, how many people are interested in me, and then how many people actually buy from me. And it's this whole idea of just bringing people through a funnel, if you will, or bringing people into your world and going from that big, lots of people, down to small, that's how many people end up buying from me after they have seen all my content, looked at my website, gotten a sales call, however it is that you sell. So they're good concepts to know because that is how you want to start thinking about your business, because it will be a matter of, how many people do I need to be in the universe knowing about us? How many people do I need to talk to every month? And then how many sales fall out the end of that? And it's when we start to understand this equation that things really start to click in our business. It also helps us really understand the metrics that matter and the ones that don't. So, I really love to measure those three things. How many people are in the universe? So that might be how many website visitors do I have? How many leads do I have? So how many people are actually getting on a call and showing real interest or asking questions? And then how many people are actually purchasing from me? Because you can measure everything, right? You can be measuring Instagram followers. You can be measuring YouTube views. You can be measuring, anything, right? I used to work with a co-founder in a previous business who literally once mapped out the entire customer journey across a whole wall in our office with like hundreds of touch points where a customer might interact with our brand. And I swear to God, it would take the entire month just to update the metrics. And it used to drive me crazy because I believe that kind of over-analysis is actually procrastination. So when you spend all of those hours analyzing, it's kind of procrastinating off doing the actual work that matters. So I believe the simpler you can make things in your business, the more likely you are to figure out what actually matters and what needle moving activities you actually need to participate in. So the metrics that I track are things like revenue, profit, leads, conversion rate. That's about it. And yes, if I want to dive into a particular channel, I might go deeper on other metrics. But, when I'm thinking about my just weekly check-ins, my monthly check-ins, my quarterly check-ins, my annual check-ins, they're the metrics that I care about. Now, let me tell you about the magic sales metric. And I just mentioned it. It is conversion rate. Your conversion rate is basically a percentage of people who've done a thing that you want them to do. So it's literally like, I wanted people to land on my website and then buy from me, or I wanted people to land on my website and book a call with me, or I wanted people to book a call with me and then some of them buy. That idea of taking them from one place to the next is simply what your conversion rate metric is. And you literally calculate it as a percentage. So take the total number of users who convert, so the end product, the sale, divided by the thing that they did. So perhaps they're landing on a landing page. So let me give you an example because I know I'm being broad brushstrokes here. So let's just take the landing page example, right? Let's say I have a sales page and it gets 1,000 visitors every month. I know that because I've got Google Analytics installed, or my website host provider probably tells me I have Squarespace for all my websites and they haven't traffic analytics. I just get the number from there. And then I know that 10 people buy from that page every month. I know that because I see the sales come in, I see the revenue. So that 10 divided by 1,000 tells me that I have, times by 100, tells me that I have a 1% conversion rate on that landing page. So why is that important? Why is that 1% interesting to me? Well, that's interesting to me because now it means I can work backwards to my goal. So let's just say I wanted to make $100,000 in revenue this year. So let's again go back. So I take $100,000 and divide it by 12, and that tells me how much money I need to make in that month. So it's $8,333. Let's call it $8,400 just to make it even. So let's now say I sell a product worth $100 on that landing page. So I need to sell 84 of those things every month to then hit my overall annual goal of $100,000. So I just worked out that my landing page converts at 1%. So therefore, if I was converting at 1%, hitting my goals, 1% would be 84 sales. So this tells me by working backwards, so 84 times 100 is that I actually need 8,400 people to land on my landing page if I'm going to make my 84 sales in that month and then my $100,000 in that year. So rather than me spiraling out of control and just saying, oh my God, I suck, I'm not hitting my numbers, everything's, the world hates me, my product's no good, blah, 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 what I can do is actually ask myself a really powerful question. Am I doing enough, or am I doing the right things to generate 8,400 people landing on my landing page? And if the answer is no, then I go, cool, what else can I do to get my right ideal customer landing on my landing page? Because I know if I just get 8,400 people there, then I'm going to sell my things and I'm going to make my target for the year. So it no longer becomes an emotional, why isn't this working? It becomes this is what I need to do to generate the end result. So now all of my time is focused on getting more people landing on my landing page. Now, we can take this one step further now that we know this information. 1% may not be a great conversion rate, depending on your industry, depending on your product, depending on your business model, that whatever the benchmark is for conversion rates will vary. But now maybe I say to myself, well, what can I do to actually increase that conversion rate? So perhaps I want to take it from 1% to 2%. So therefore, I only need 4,200 people landing on my landing page to sell the same amount of things. So what can I do to actually improve the conversion rate of this landing page? Maybe it is I need to go back through and make sure I'm really communicating the value, communicating the transformation that the product will give my end customer. Perhaps the design's really old and outdated. Perhaps it loads really slow. Perhaps, there's only one button on the whole page for people to buy. All of those things. How can I actually help people convert more when they land on that landing page? So again, all of these activities that I can do in my business fall out of knowing our numbers. It helps us take that emotion out of business and just gives us the information so we can make data-driven decisions and less emotional decisions. And that's it really. Once you know the metrics that matter, and once you know things like the magic sales metric, which is the conversion rate, you can start to make these decisions. Now, the next key is actually tracking it regularly. So again, it will depend on you. I am a weekly kind of gal. Monthly is good too. Quarterly tells me that sales really aren't that important in your business. But the cadence, you'll figure out what is right for you. And the other thing is you don't need to spend a lot of money on a fancy CRM. Again, people love to overcomplicate sales. Just use a free Google spreadsheet, put 4 metrics in it and track it consistently over time. Or do it in a notebook, like whatever works for you. The key is just knowing those numbers so that you know when you try these new things in your business, did it have an impact or not? The stuff that does have an impact, do more of. The stuff that didn't have an impact, don't worry about. Move on and try a new thing, try a new experiment. So that is why knowing your numbers in business is so critical. It helps you make decisions and it helps remove emotions from the whole process. So even though it's a little boring sometimes, I promise you that if you get to love your numbers, then you might just be a little bit happier in business. I hope that helped. Please tell me if you do track the numbers in your business, or if you're going to start today, if I have inspired you to figure those things out, I would love to hear about it. And if no one else tells you today, you are fabulous. Thanks for showing up for yourself in business, and I will chat to you in the next episode.